Hello and welcome to this episode of International Consulting Podcast. I am now with a Campervan digital nomad, Hilary. Hello, Hilary.
Hello, Jan.
Nice to talk with you. So you are right now in your campervan.
I am. This is my home, my workspace, my bed, my everything.
Is this like your whole space? So how big is it?
That's a good question. It's 108 inches long. I don't have exact dimensions. I wish I could give you a tour if I'd cleaned up the house a little. It's a little messy, but woo! There we go. It's messy. I have to pan quickly so you can't see.
Okay. That gives a good idea.
Yeah. It's definitely not a huge camper van, but it is good size.
So you are even working from your campervan?
I am, yeah. I'm the ocean is right out there. I'm right on the Washington coast, and I have cell service. It's awesome.
And it looks like you even have a sunny day.
Yes, it's starting to become a sunny day. It's a nice day out there.
So for how long have you been a campervan digital nomad?
For about 2 months. I have been on the road full time, working, just traveling around the US. Yeah.
And approximately like how many hours are you driving? How many hours are you working?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd say I'm working about 20 hours a week. I have two different part-time marketing jobs. And then when I first started, I was driving a lot more than anything. But now I stay in one location for sometimes up to a week. So I'm doing a lot less driving and more exploring and working and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Probably driving like 10 hours a week. That's it. Yeah.
So at the beginning, you were driving a lot. You wanted to get away.
Yes, exactly. Because I built out the van at my parents' house in New Hampshire. And I was like, I need to get away. I need to go be free. And I'm still renting a room in Utah, where I had moved to from New Hampshire like 5 years ago. So I wanted to go back to Utah to see friends. I have a cat there also that I miss so much. So yeah, right when I hit the road, I traveled literally across the whole country to Utah. And I guess too, it's common, like once you hit the road, you want to see everything all at once. Like you just get really wrapped up in it. So rather than like exploring one area for a while, it's kind of like you just want to go. But now I'm like chilling out and I'm like, all right, gas is expensive to buy and there's a lot of cool stuff around here. So.
And at your current location, for how long have you been there?
This is day 4, I believe. Yeah, that was my 3rd night. Yeah, 4th day. It's so good. It's such a great place. It's free. It's safe. There's self-service. There are public bathrooms nearby. I'm literally right on the ocean. There's another camper van that's been here also for the last 3 days. So I have like a neighbor, a little safety net there.
Is it easy to meet people?
That's a good question. Yes and no. I'd say I'm not super good at going out there and just introducing myself. But if someone approaches me like another van person, yeah, then absolutely it's easy to make friends. And actually using Instagram is a great tool for connecting with people, kind of, evaluating who they are, and then you guys can coordinate to meet up. So I have done that a couple times.
But do you meet them on Instagram or you meet them in real life first? Exchange
No, I
Instagram?
meet them. Yeah, I meet them on Instagram. It's such a robust community on there, and we all have something in common instantly. And you can kind of see who else they're friends with. Like, do you have mutual friends? And so that helps vet them out as, you know, a safe person and stuff. But it's pretty wild. I never thought I would be using social media to make friends.
But like, how do you find on social media people physically kind of close to you that you can meet?
Yeah, good question. So let me think about this. It's a little tricky, but I had a van friend doing van life before I started, and I met up with him, and then from there he told me there's basically a group, like the van community follows the seasons. And so, like, as long as, you know, you go up north for the summer to stay cool, and then you slowly start working your way south as the weather gets colder and colder. And he just told me, like, basically, if you stay along this route, you're going to meet van people. You're going to be where tons of other van people are. And so, you know, the more van people I follow on Instagram, like, they will tag their locations, and I'll be like, oh, you're in Washington, I'm in Washington, when are you going to be in this area? And then you go from there.
Oh, so it's actually pretty easy.
It is actually pretty easy. Yeah. Yeah.
And how did you get your camper van? How did you prepare it?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That was, whew. So basically I wanted a van that was not too expensive, where, like, if everything went wrong, I wouldn't be totally broke. So, but I also didn't want to build it out myself because I knew nothing about how to build it out. So when I came across this van, even though it was located in Canada, I loved it because it was already built out, and it was, I think it was about $66,000, which was in my budget. I'm like, okay, I can do that. So I booked a one-way flight to Canada to pick up this van, and my friend of a friend was selling it. And then I was in, where was I? Oh, it was like Quebec area, which was only like 10 hours away from New Hampshire. So I drove it down to New Hampshire to have my dad look at it, because that's where my parents were, from a mechanical perspective. But then we ended up gutting the whole thing and building it out ourselves because we felt like the original build was not super safe or really what I needed to live in it full time. Yeah, so then we spent the next 6 months building it out, and my dad is very knowledgeable in woodworking and cars and electrics, so I could not have done it without him, for sure.
So what we see behind you, you have built it yourself with your dad?
Yep.
The woodwork above you and behind you?
Yep, that was all me and my dad. So this actually used to be a Holiday Inn shuttle bus, like the hotel, you know, and so it already had some insulation built into it because it was designed to carry a lot of people and keep them comfortable. So, like, in the ceiling, there's a thick layer of foam built into the whatever it's called, fiberglass. So that helps keep, you know, regulate temperature. And then all this this fabric is actually from the original shuttle bus, and it's from 1999. So it's got like a retro, you know, kind of vintage vibe about it. So this is from the original van, and then all the woodwork is from me and my dad. And I have like a, you know, a ceiling fan that we put in and ceiling lights. Yeah, it is it's very cool. I can't imagine ever selling it.
So it's like a small apartment.
It is like a small apartment with a little more rust probably on the bottom. But I will say when and stop me if I'm going too long, but when I took this to my dad's mechanic friend to look it over, he actually came back saying, you should sell this van and get a new one. Like, it's not worth it. Like it's just, it needed new rear brakes, front brakes, the exhaust manifold things were snapped, like just, about over $3,000 worth of work that needed to go into it. Yeah. So there was like 2 weeks where I started looking at other vans and touring them and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? I have this van. I can handle putting in another 3,000 to make it safe. Like, that's still within my budget. So I opted to do that. And our mechanic friend, he put his heart and soul into making this a safe and reliable vehicle for me. So a lot of love went into this van.
Okay, but it's very interesting. So you said 6 months building it or upgrading it.
Yes, upgrading it significantly.
That sounds like a lot. It's a kind of a small baby, or
It is. And my dad actually retired 2 months into that process. So we were working on it full time every day. Like, I mean, yeah.
it's hard to imagine like what you have to do. What takes so long?
Oh my gosh. We knew nothing about what we were getting ourselves into. I think normally you buy a van and then you make a blueprint for what you want, and you're like, what fits your lifestyle, and then you buy the supplies and then you build it out, one piece at a time. My dad and I were like, woo, I guess we'll just build, come up with ideas as we build. I was so eager to get on the road. So, but most importantly, you just start with things like you build out the ceiling and then you build out the walls. There's insulation that people put in. That's important. And to me, it was really important to have a bench to bed conversion. So the bed I'm on right now actually folds up, into benches because I wanted a designated workspace. So that took a lot more work than rather just like a fixed bed, which a lot of people do.
So right now you are on your sleeping area, not on your working area.
Yeah, exactly. And I was warned beforehand that, there's how you think you'll live and how you actually live. And a lot of people have the bench to bed conversion, but they end up not actually like converting it every day because they just get lazy and it's a lot of work. I have reached that point. I am now just, my bed is just a bed. It never gets turned back into a bench now.
So looking back now, would you implement other changes in your campervan?
You mean do just a bed instead of a bench to bed?
For
Or
example, do you see that you missed something? You forgot to.
yes, my sink setup. I don't have a drain in my sink, so anytime I use it, I have to lift it up and dump it out. And I hate feeling like I'm, dumping water in a place that I shouldn't be, or I don't know. It's just like that, social judgment. I'm worried about people seeing. Yeah, there's that. I don't use solar, which a lot of people are like, why don't you use solar? But I don't regret that. I have 2 RV batteries that charge when I'm driving. The van battery charges them. And then I also bought this portable battery, extra power. So yeah, so I have enough power to run my laptop, for days at a time if I'm not driving and stuff.
But
Yeah, to answer your question, there's nothing massive I regret, actually. I'm very happy to say that.
so you did plan it well.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I am no longer using my benches as a workspace. It's just my bed. I guess I kind of regret that, but it's not bad. I like still having the option.
And it actually forces you to move from time to time to recharge your batteries.
Exactly. Exactly.
If you are depending on solar, like maybe you would stay at a place for a month as long as it's sunny and
Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah. And yeah, that's okay, but I like to be moving. It's good to just keep moving, you know.
so actually what is Campervan nomadism? How does it work?
Yeah, I think it's for anyone who is comfortable being uncomfortable and likes to travel. There are people who do it full time. Then there are, you know, your weekend warriors who just go out on the weekends and maybe they still have, you know, a residence and they work full time. But really, campervan nomadism is um, living out of your van, not an RV, but a van, and uh, just traveling around wherever you want to go.
I saw that it is very popular in New Zealand or in Australia, but mostly for holiday, not really for digital nomads.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Do you meet when you meet other people living in Campervan? Are they also working remotely? Are they also digital nomads, or
Um,
only are enjoying life and moving with their campervan?
right? I'd say one person I met is working remotely. Another person is not. He just quit his job and is allowing himself like a year to travel. Um, and I know some other people that work seasonally. So maybe they will go to, yeah, certain locations and then like work at a restaurant or work out on a farm. Um, that would stress me out because it's just such an unstable form of income, not knowing if, you know, I'll get that job and stuff. So it's definitely a mixture. It's all over the place.
So you are actually getting regular income.
I am getting regular income, yeah. That I I can say when I started this lifestyle, I didn't tell my parents. I just quit my job, my corporate, you know, full-time job with benefits and the salary and all that stuff. And I booked a flight to Canada to get this van. And I didn't tell my parents because I knew they would try to talk me out of it. Not because they didn't want me to do it, but because they were like, Hilary, you don't have a new job lined up. You don't have, you know, like what, you're just gonna live off of your savings. And it's really amazing once you make that big leap, how things fall into place. So like I quit my job and had no income and that terrified me. But I actually went back to my job saying, hey, do you guys want to work out some remote setup? And they were open to it. So I got that. And then I messaged an old coworker on LinkedIn who had since started his own business and he needed marketing help. So within, you know, 3 weeks, I had 2 part-time remote gigs already. Um, and and then my dad happened to retire, so I got his help building out the van, and it was just like really cool that it worked out.
So you kind of got lucky.
I feel like I got lucky, but I also I you know, I like to think that there was more to it. I don't know. I'm a big believer in like the energy you put out into the world is the energy you receive. And I think the world could tell that I was really determined to make this happen. And it's like they only want to support you in that. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Hmm.
So for whom is campervan nomadism? Is it like for any kind of digital nomad? Can you do any digital nomad job? Like I hardly imagine, for example, there are a lot of customer care digital nomads.
Oh, like if they're in customer support, you mean? Or
Yes. For example, you don't really get a stable internet connection all the time, right? Do you work a lot offline or typically only online and have to deal with?
I would say there are ways to ensure that you have a very stable internet connection pretty much all the time. Between, like, I'm using my phone as a mobile hotspot. You can buy mobile hotspot devices. There's also this device, so expensive though, I can't justify getting it for myself, but it's called WeBoost, and it's a cell phone signal booster. So, because there are loads of places where you get a little bit of cell phone service, but not enough to stay, stable. But this device takes care of that. So I think people who are really serious about working from the road, they have mobile hotspot devices, they have cell phone signal boosters, and also they plan their schedules accordingly. So they know, like, I'm going to be doing my work, Monday through Wednesday. So therefore, I'm going to stay in a McDonald's parking lot where it has a really good, free Wi-Fi signal. So it is still a compromise. It's not just, gorgeous views in the middle of nowhere all the time. If you want to work from the road, you have to do some sacrifice.
Is it actually allowed to stay on any parking lot like McDonald's parking?
Is it a lot?
Is
Wait,
it allowed?
sorry.
Can Are you able to do it? Nobody will tell you, will ask you to move, or
Oh, yeah, it is. You can't stay overnight. You get kicked out doing that. But I have spent many full days in a McDonald's parking lot just using their free Wi-Fi. Even if I didn't buy anything from there, it's really great that that's an option. And there are gas stations also, like the Flying J Pilot gas stations have really good free Wi-Fi. Yeah.
so there are actually plenty of options to work on the road.
There are. Yeah, it's pretty decent. But again, you have to stay kind of close to a city in those cases, because like once you go up to a national park, you might be hours away from uh, you know, fast food places or places for free Wi-Fi. But overall, yes. With a little careful planning, it's easy peasy.
And usually, do you have to pay for your overnight stays? Can you do you have to pay for a spot for your campervan?
No, so there are a couple cell phone apps that van people use to list free camp spots, or really any type of camp spot. That's how I found this one, actually. It's an app called iOverlander, and you leave reviews. So I always look for the free places. I'm proud to say I actually haven't spent any money on a campground yet or anything, because campgrounds get expensive. But and otherwise, hotel parking lots are always a safe bet. So like, if I can't find a spot and it's getting late at night and I'm getting a little worried about finding somewhere safe, I will just look up the closest hotel and, stay in their parking lot. I did get kicked out of a hotel parking lot once, but I wasn't being as stealthy as I should have been.
Okay, I see. So you still manage to stay productive while working from your campervan.
Yeah, you're saying what are the techniques I use to stay productive, or sorry? Okay. I definitely got to get out and stretch my legs. So I like to be, in a place where I could go do a quick hike, or even, here I could just walk along the ocean, something to change up the scenery from being in this little compact space. That recharges me. And then also making sure my space stays tidy. I mean, it's impossible to keep it totally clean all the time, but just to know things are in order, that helps my mind stay focused. And then also kind of setting a loose schedule for myself. So I'll say, again, like Monday through Wednesday, you're gonna do all your work, and then, Thursday and Friday, you can go do a hike and just let your mind be free. Yeah, that's my strategy.
And so you squeeze your working time over a few days so you can enjoy the location on the other days.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, it's nice.
Do you typically take a lot of breaks? during your working days, at least?
Um, yeah, I would say so. I'll get really inspired really easily. So I'll be working on something and then I'll be like, oh wow, that's a cool, I want to go take my camera and take a picture of that. And then, a half hour goes by and I'm like, man, now I'm hungry. I might want to make lunch. And and then yeah, it's a not overly structured work day, but it keeps me happy and I still get my work done.
Okay, well, that's amazing. Uh, you are so lucky to be able like to go to the beach right now.
Right? Yeah, I
You
can
don't
just
need
go
to
to
ask for anyone's permission. You can just hop off your camper van and go to for a swim. Or
I could, yeah. But I'm not gonna go for a swim. It is too cold. Oh, and also that's another very difficult thing is showering, especially during COVID. Basically, a lot of van people use gym memberships to get access to free showers. So like a lot of them use Planet Fitness because Planet Fitnesses are across the whole country and it's only like $20 or $30 a month. Um, but like if I jumped in the ocean right now, I would just be covered in, salty water and I'd be like, I have no way to shower. Yeah. I can't do this. So that gets really, really annoying. That's tough.
actually, it's already a lot of tips for anyone that would think about becoming a camper van nomad. So finding the free parking spots, the free Wi-Fi, maybe getting uh, a mobile connection,
Yeah,
getting a gym
absolutely.
membership for shower.
Right? I
Do
know.
you?
Right now, the showers are still closed in all gym locations, basically across the country. So I have a solar shower bag, and yeah, you just fill it up and you let it sit in the sun for a few hours, and then, but but right now, since I'm up in the north, I mean, it's chilly. It's not warm enough to warrant an outdoor shower, and then you got to find a private place to be able to, take a shower. So I have done some hotel or motel stays just for one night to, like reset, do laundry, take a shower and stuff. So yeah. Or
Okay.
I go find my friends and I say, hi, can you take care of me? Can I sleep on your couch for a day and use your shower?
And do you have other tips?
Let's see, what other kind of tips do I have? Um, I'd say for anyone that is seriously considering this life but hasn't started it yet or anything, I think the best thing you can do is save money. Um, I, regardless of like what your career is in, I think that you should understand about how long you want to be on the road and then have, try to get an idea of how much that would cost and then have that much saved up. Because living this lifestyle comes with a lot of big unknowns. I mean, I could be in a car accident, I could have skyrocketing medical bills all of a sudden, I could, you know, need thousands of dollars of fixes on my van. Just a lot of unknowns, and I think that's the first place to start.
So you do have a travel insurance, right?
No, I
Med-
actually do not have.
Medical travel insurance. Okay.
I should. Well, I have like, AAA and Geico. I have two different ones. So actually, when I left Utah to go start my adventure, I didn't even make it out of Utah before I had an epic breakdown in my van. It was quite scary. I was flying down a main road and then there was a red light, so I stopped. And then when the light turned green, I went to drive and my van just wouldn't go. The gas pedal did nothing. And so I'm like in the middle of this really busy main highway where people are just whipping by and they can't tell that my van is, not moving. And anyway, thankfully, some guys towed me off the road right away, and I had my insurance company sent a tow truck, and then there was like a place that auto shop place just 3 miles down the road, and it was a Saturday and the shop didn't open till Monday, so I just stayed in a motel for a couple days. But that whole like towing and all that was within my network, so it was actually free, which was really great. And again, like, I'm just so impressed at how helpful and supportive random people are, like friends, family, and strangers. So yeah. I don't know why I told that story, but
Well, that's very interesting. I think that actually happens to all digital nomads. It's not about being alone, actually. It's even about connecting even more and making use of your network. Like, rather than staying at home, watching TV, maybe planning something for the weekend, you do connect with and interact with people you already know even more often.
I totally agree. And exactly, like, I just stayed with some friends in Seattle that I hadn't seen in literally probably 10 years. And I was there with them for, 3 days, and it seems like people enjoy the mixing up of their daily lives. So, I do feel I don't want to be this, leech showing up at people's houses being like, take care of me. But I find that they want the, the company. They want to catch up and, like you're saying, just really have time to really bond, not just, oh, we're all getting together because of a birthday party or a wedding. It's like, no, this is just hanging out, doing nothing together, which is really when great bonding happens.
Well, yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
And what do they say when they see you arriving with your camper van? It must be a shock. Do you tell them that you are living in a camper van?
Oh yeah, everyone knows. I'm documenting it on Instagram pretty thoroughly, so my friends are very excited for me, and they want to come meet the van. But they ask for a tour of the van, and then yeah, I don't know. That's about it.
So it is actually kind of a baby. Other people want to meet your van to.
That's so true. I have to say, as someone who doesn't own a house or doesn't have a baby, like, this is a pride point for me for sure. Like, I'm very proud of this, and I built it. I'm protective of it. It's mine to cherish.
Well, that was a very interesting discussion. So before we finish, maybe you want to say something about your online business?
Yeah, I would love to. So if people are interested in following my adventures on Instagram, my Instagram handle is green.van.go, go, not .gov. And I want to inspire other solo female van people to try this. So I've also been writing a blog and sharing tips and tricks on my website, which is greenvango.com. Yeah.
We'll share the links below the video, of course.
Oh, great. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, that was a very interesting talk. So thank you very much, Hilary. It was great meeting you.